Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews are two of the best players in the NHL, and there's no doubt about it. These two guys are going to be in everyone's top 5. However, on their respective teams, they haven't seen much success. Auston Matthews, he's only been able to make it out of the first round once, while Connor McDavid, he's made it to the conference finals once. However, they were swept by the Colorado Avalanche, so neither of these guys have seen a ton of success. Today, I'm putting them on the same team together. I'm going to rebuild the Miami Vipers, and I'm going to win these guys a couple Stanley Cups. Now, there is only one rule for this video. Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews always have to be on the same line together, and ideally, that's the first line. But I mean, once they get late in their careers and they have dropped to like 83 overalls, if they have to play on the second line, then that's perfectly fine. But one of them can't drop to the second line, they both have to drop there together. Now, with all that being said, we're going to simulate to the end of this season here, ideally get the first overall pick, and best case scenario, we get another franchise potential player to play alongside these guys. And while the season simulates, you see this right here, that's how many subscribers the Detroit Red Wings have. Now here's how many subscribers I have. We're still trying to pass the Detroit Red Wings in YouTube subscribers, so if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So no surprise here, the Miami Vipers are terrible. We have a 3-72-7 record. The fact that we went to overtime 7 times makes absolutely no sense, considering the only 2 good players on our team were Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid, but I guess that shows how good those guys are. Because outside of them, this team had nothing. And speaking of McDavid and Matthews, let's see what they're up to. McDavid's picking up 100 points here, 47 goals and 53 helpers, while Auston Matthews, 42 goals and 53 helpers for 95 points. 2 fantastic seasons for both of these guys. But I'm going to be completely honest, Matthews, I thought you would have had at least 60 goals. Playing alongside a great playmaker like Connor McDavid, I'm expecting a bit more. So it looks like the Dallas Stars are going to be taking home the first Stanley Cup of the video as they're taking down the Carolina Hurricanes. But who really cares about this when there's something more important? Here's my Instagram and Twitter. I'm going to start using these platforms a lot more, so if you want up-to-date information and maybe some behind-the-scenes stuff, then definitely go follow both. Also, I might be going live on Instagram from time to time, so if you want to be in tune for that, make sure you go ahead and follow. Okay, I think that's enough promotion for one video. Let's get to the draft lottery results here and see what happens for the Miami Vipers. Of course, we're hoping for the first overall pick. We dropped to 3. Not overly surprised because we got lucky in the last video, so I'll take this. I guess not the last video, it would be 2 videos ago. That doesn't matter. The 3rd overall pick's still pretty good. With the 3rd overall pick, we're going to be going with Berkeley Catton here, a 75 overall playmaker. He's got medium elite potential, and he's going to develop into a good player for us over the next handful of years. But you know what? We might not be done here because the Nashville Predators, they have the 4th overall pick, and I really wouldn't mind bringing Caden Lindstrom onto the team. So hypothetically, if I gave you our 1st round pick for next season in order to get this 4th rounder right here, would you be willing to accept this deal? They're going to be saying no, but the plan is we're going to be a good team next season. We're not going to be this bad. And if we can somehow secure the 4th overall pick and the 3rd, I think that could be the move. So I'll include a 5th rounder in this deal. They're still saying no, but all we have to do is throw a 7th in. Alright, so this is the play. A 1st rounder for next year, a 5th and a 7th. We're going to get the 4th overall here, and now we're going to select Caden Lindstrom. Now, I don't think we're going to be a bottom 4 team, so I think this trade actually makes a lot of sense here. We're getting the 3rd overall pick and the 4th overall pick. These 2 guys are going to play alongside each other. They're going to be a fantastic second line for us. Well, definitely not for next season because I'm going to give them 1 more year to develop, but in 2 or 3 years, this is definitely the move. So as we know, the year number 1 draft normally sucks. So I'm going to trade a 4th rounder and a 6th rounder over to the Boston Bruins, and we're getting a future 2nd rounder. On top of that, our 5th rounder, which is the 133rd overall, is going to be packaged up with next season's 7th rounder, and we're going to be picking up a 3rd round pick from the Arizona Coyotes. So obviously, we're making a lot of signings in free agency because we basically have unlimited money. We have $60 million to work with. Who's going to be our first signing? Joe Pavelski. No, I'm just kidding about that one. We're going to go with Noah Hanifin. Now, I am going to have to give Noah Hanifin a bit more than what he's asking for, seeing as we were a 3-win team. So here's 5.4 for the next 6 seasons. Novak, I'm also going to give you a deal here. We're going to do 4.1 for the next 5 years. I'm going to give you some top 6 minutes, and I'm going to allow you to develop into a really good player for us. And then once your trade value's gone up, we'll trade you away. Sam Lafferty's going to be another player we sign, and a 3x3 actually sounds like a good contract for him. We're taking a bit of a risk with a guy like Gurionov. We're going to do 2.9 for the next 4. Best case scenario, he develops into an 85 overall player. Worst case scenario, he drops to a 79 overall and has no trade value. But I don't think we have to worry about the worst case scenario. We need a couple guys to play defense here, and Sean Walker, you're going to be one of them. We're going to do 3.2 for the next 2. Another guy we'll bring in is going to be Matt Wall, and we'll do 3.2 for the next 3 with him. Jake DeBrusk is also going to be brought in on a pretty cheap deal here. We're going to do 2.9 for the next 4. Another player being brought in on a 4-year deal is going to be Beauvillier. We're going to do 2.9 for the next 4 with him. Victor Olofsson's also going to be brought in here on a pretty cheap deal as well, 2.6 for the next 3. Another player that's going to be brought in to help the defense is going to be Chatfield, and we're doing 2.1 for the next 4. Now, Valimaki, I think you actually could turn into a good player for us. So we're doing 6 years at 2.4 million. Whether or not you turn to a top 4 guy for us, we haven't figured that out yet, but you're only 25 years old and you never know what can happen. So to finish off the free agent signings, I'm bringing Jonathan Quick in on a 2-year deal at 1.9 million. Then I'm going to let the AI do the rest of the signings. Now I got offered a trade pretty similar to this from the Philadelphia Flyers. 2 second rounders for Sanheim and a 3rd round pick. Now Sanheim would easily be our best defenseman here at an 86 overall. And I think if we give him some top pairing minutes, he actually could develop into a really solid player, maybe even an 88 overall. Then again, he is 28 years old. He doesn't really have too much time left to develop. But I think this could be the move because we do have to be a somewhat competitive team this season. We don't own our 1st round pick, and I don't want that to turn into the number 1 overall. So we're going to offer that over. Philly's accepting it, and Sanheim, welcome to the team. Okay, so here's the team right here. Clearly, this is not a good NHL team. We're going to be a bottom 5 team, no doubt about it. Beauvillier, 82, they're getting a +4 on the first line. But you never know. Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid on one line together, they might be able to carry us to a handful of victories, and we actually might not be bottom 5. And the defense here is actually pretty solid. All 80 overalls are higher. Travis Sanheim, he's leading the way at an 86. We have Noah Hannafin at 85. Sean Walker, Matt Waugh. This is actually a pretty decent team. And then in between the pipes, we have Jonathan Quick at an 82 overall. Can we rely on Jonathan Quick at 38 years old? Absolutely not. But all we need to do is not finish bottom 5. As long as that happens, then that trade we made for Lindstrom is going to work out for us. The other thing we have to hope for is everyone that we sign jumps 3 overalls and their trade value increases by a ton, and then we'll make some trades. However, I don't think that's going to be happening here. But you know what? You never know with this game. So if the team's good, we'll make some trades according to that. But if the team's bad, we'll also make some trades according to that. Now we're at the trade deadline. I'm going to be completely honest. The Miami Vipers are doing a lot better than I expected. We're not a good team by any means, but 19th in the entire league with a 31, 28, and 6 record. That's not too bad. Scoring 3.52 goals per game, allowing 3.62. That's actually a pretty good jump from last season. Now, Auston Matthews, this is an incredible year from you. 87 points, including 40 goals. Connor McDavid, 39 goals, 47 assists for 86 points. While Beauvillier, 52 points. You're definitely going to have some big trade value next season. You know who else is going to have some big trade value? Novak, because he's got 41 points here in 65 games. And I'm going to be completely honest. Jonathan Quick, I was not expecting 27 wins from you this season. So shout out to you. You're an absolute legend. Now, I said we were going to make trades according to how good we are. But we're mid right now. But you know what could make us better? Carter Verhaeghe. He's 29 years old and 87 overall. He'd be a massive upgrade for this team, playing alongside the likes of Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews. Nah, this is definitely the move. Sam Lafferty and 2 third rounders sent over to the Florida Panthers. We're going to try to get this deal done. Maybe if I retain half of Lafferty's contract for the next 3 years. That's a lot of money, 1.5 for the next 3. I think that could be enough to make the difference right there. So I'm going to offer this over to Florida. We'll see what they're saying. They're still saying no. But you know what? We have some more assets we can work with. What if I give you Sam Lafferty and Gurionov? Is that going to be enough? Maybe if I take out Gurionov and throw in a 3rd round pick, that'll be enough to get this deal done. They're saying no, but we just have to sweeten the touch here. A 7th rounder is going to be the difference maker. A first line of Auston Matthews, Connor McDavid, and Carter Verhaeghe. That's destined for success. That's going to be the only move we make, and during the draft, we're basically going to make no selections because I've traded the next 2 years of picks away. But you know what? That's perfectly fine. We got Carter Verhaeghe. He's a massive upgrade for this team, and we're also going to claim Sebastian Aho. I don't even know what overall he is. But you know what? I know this team has cap space. So Carter Verhaeghe, I'm going to be giving you an extension here. We're going to be doing $7 million per year for the next 5 years. This is actually going to be a really good contract considering who you're going to be playing with. You're going to be averaging over a point a game. So 82 points for a $7 million guy, I think that's worth it. Now, of course, this is going to be the last season of us not being a playoff team because next season we're certainly making the playoffs. 19th in the entire league here with a 39, 35, and 8 record. Our offense wasn't too bad, but our defense wasn't good at all. That's perfectly fine. We're bringing in a goaltender for next season. We're also going to fill out the bottom 6. This team's just going to be better in general next season. So Matthews was incredible. 50 goals and 60 helpers for 110 points. Connor McDavid 108 points here. He had 46 goals and 62 helpers. Carter Verhaeghe, I'm really interested to see what you did on the first line. 14 points in 17 games is a massive disappointment considering we were playing alongside Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews. Like seriously, only 14 points. You weren't even a point a game. You're not worth that $7 million. Meanwhile, Jonathan Quick, I don't really care what your numbers are. You had a 901 and a 334 with 33 wins. I guess I'll take that. So Tampa's going to be winning the Stanley Cup here. And surprise, surprise, the Vancouver Canucks are going to be losing in the postseason. Everyone saw that coming. Like literally everyone that saw this postseason matchup knew the Vancouver Canucks would lose because for some reason in this game, Vancouver always loses in the Stanley Cup final. They never win. I have no clue why that happens, but I just feel like in every video I do, if Vancouver makes it to the Stanley Cup final, they lose 99.9% of the time. Also, that first round pick we ended up giving up to Nashville turned into the 15th overall. So basically we traded the 15th overall pick for the 4th overall. So that was some high IQ moves right there. So if this team is going to be competing for Stanley Cups, we got to do a good job drafting, and that's what we're doing here because with the 81st overall, we're securing a low-lead potential two-way forward. So when it comes to the re-sign phase, I'm not bringing any of these guys back. Plain and simple. Alright, so after not having to make any extensions during the re-sign phase, Connor McDavid is going to be the greatest human alive as he's going to be accepting an incredibly cheap deal here. We're doing 10.5 for the next 6 seasons. Actually, what am I talking about? We got to do an 8-year contract with him. So instead of 10.5 million, we're going to be doing 11.3 for the next 8 years. We're actually saving money on this contract. I have no clue how we're saving money on a Connor McDavid extension, but we are. Also, I just want to point out the guys that improved over the offseason. Novak's up to an 87. Jake DeBrusk is an 86. Even Anthony Beauvillier, he's up to an 84. Also, Novak, do you have any X factors? That's what I'm really curious about. Let's see. He's got one. Novak's ready to take over, but he's also under a really cheap contract and has a lot of trade value. So we might be trading him. So I was talking about how we need a goaltender, and Askarov's definitely the man for us. He's an 85 overall. He's got medium league potential at 23 years old. He always develops into a really good goaltender. So Jonathan Quick and Gurionov, along with the 4th round picks, going to be sent over to Nashville, and we're making another deal with this team. I think we've made 2 trades in this video, and both of them have been with the Nashville Predators. So shout out to Nashville, they just keep helping us out. So I think a guy like Trent Frederic could be very useful to the bottom 6. So I'm going to give him 3.9 for the next 3 years. So I think we're going to be doing 2 more free agent signings here. It's going to start with Bukestad. We're going to do a 2-year deal at $2 million. I feel like that's a pretty good deal for a bottom 6 guy. Actually, what am I doing? We're doing 1.85 for the next 2. And then Alexander Kerfoot, you're going to be getting basically the exact same deal, but we'll do 1.9 for the next 2 with you. That's going to fill out our bottom 6 here, and I think that should be enough to get us into the postseason. I actually lied. We're bringing one more guy onto the team. That's going to be Dakota Joshua. We're going to do 4 years at 1.8 million. And it turns out I lied again because we do need a backup goaltender. So Kevin Lankinen, 2 years at 700K. We're actually going to do 900K for you just to make sure that you join this team. So the Miami Vipers are looking like a much better team. McDavid, Verhaeghe, and Auston Matthews on that first line. That's an incredible first line. The second line is not too bad. Victor Olofsson, Novak, he's up to an 87 overall. Well, Jake DeBrusk is up to an 86. Beauvillier is going to be playing with the young guns on this line. He's got Berkeley Catton and Caden Lindstrom. That's actually a pretty solid third line. These guys are going to continue to develop. And the plan for next season, Catton and Lindstrom are both going to be playing some top 6 minutes. Meanwhile, the fourth line here, I can't complain with an 84 overall Frederic. The defense is looking the exact same, but honestly, that wasn't really a weakness for our team. We could improve the right side a bit, but other than that, we're looking not too bad. And the goaltending, we got 87 overall Askarov, 82 overall Kevin Lankinen backing him up. We should definitely be a postseason team, maybe even top 10. I think top 10 might be asking for a bit too much, but we're definitely a much improved team compared to what we were last season. Okay, so things are not good for the Miami Vipers. We're 32nd in the entire league with a 17-25-3 record. Things are about to change, and it's all starting with a Jake DeBrusk trade. So the trade's going to be looking something like this. Jake DeBrusk over to the Arizona Coyotes. I want Ruzicka for the bottom 6, but a second and third rounder would also be ideal. I don't think we're going to be getting both of those, but we actually will be. All we have to do is throw a 7th rounder in this deal. Okay, I was not expecting us to get these 2 draft picks right here. That actually makes our life a lot easier. Because then that second rounder that we acquire is going to be sent over to the Winnipeg Jets, and we're going to get Kyle Palmieri. I honestly thought we would be able to, but I'll throw a 3rd rounder in this deal. That's going to be enough to get him, but you got to give me something back in exchange, maybe a 4th rounder. So Palmieri and a 4th rounder for a 2nd and a 3rd. They're going to be saying no. I guess we're just doing a 2nd and a 3rd for Kyle Palmieri. That's really not enough. Okay, we're getting finessed here because Kyle Palmieri is 34 years old. You know what? We're actually not doing this deal. I'm not giving up these many assets for a 34-year-old. And not picking up Kyle Palmieri is probably for the best because I think we can get Jack Quinn for a 2nd round pick. Yeah, this was definitely the move. So we made some changes to the forward core. Novak, Lidstrom, and Beauvillier on the 2nd line. Then it's going to be Jack Quinn, Berkeley Cat, and Ruzicka on the 3rd. By making the moves we did, we now get a +2 boost here on the 2nd line, and we also get a +2 on the 3rd line. I think that's going to make the difference, seeing as all these guys have much better line fits. The 4th line's still a work in progress, but I feel like Dakota Joshua, Bukestad, and Olofsson should be enough. I'm going to look around, see if we can find some guys for the 4th line, because there's no reason this team should be as bad as we are. Now, I think Cardwell can fit on our 4th line, and he'll have a better fit than Victor Olofsson, so Olofsson in the 3rd rounder, that's going to get us Cardwell. Okay, I want my respect because I am the greatest GM of all time. Yeah, we're 10th in the entire league with a 34-28-4 record. I saved this team single-handedly by making the moves I did. We were 32nd in the entire league at the 40 game mark. Here we are at the 66 game mark, and we're 10th in the entire league. This shouldn't be happening. Connor McDavid, thank you so much for turning it up. 85 points here in 66 games. Auston Matthews, 76 points. Carver Hagee, he's got 65. Beauvillier, Novak, Jack Quinn. This team's been looking fantastic after I made those moves. As Croft, you're not being judged on these numbers based on how bad we were in the first 40 games of the season. This isn't a good representation of what you've been doing for our team. Now, with all that being said, should we make a trade here at the trade deadline, or are we just playing out of our minds right now? Are we really this good of a team? I think we are. And honestly, Rasmus Anderson, I think you could be the missing piece for us because we do need a bit of help on our right side. Now, the real question is, do you fit on the first pairing here? You don't fit on any of our defensive lines? Never mind, we're not trading for you. Is there any other defenseman, though, that we could trade for that's on the trade block? Thomas Chabot? We might do this right here. But Thomas Chabot, I think, is the left side, isn't he? I don't think he's left and right. Yeah, he's left side. We're not trading for Thomas Chabot. Chikrin, on the other hand, if he's on the Ottawa Senators still, we might be making that move. Okay, Chikrin is not on this team anymore. We're trading for a defenseman, though. I'll state that now. Now, we weren't able to get Ryan Bacher, but Eric Chernak, that actually wouldn't be the worst case scenario. 28 years old, he's a good defensive defenseman, and he can fit on all defensive lines. I'm going to send this over to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we just got Eric Chernak. But I feel like that's not going to be the last defenseman we pick up here. Actually, I feel like that's a lie about what I just said. I think that is going to be the last defenseman, because that means we're going to have a really good top pairing, and our second pairing is not going to be that bad either. Yeah, that's the last move we're making here, and we're going to simulate the rest of the season and see if this team can finish top 5 after that horrible start. Now, the Miami Vipers definitely didn't do a great job finishing out the season here, but 14th in the entire league. That's going to put us in the playoffs. 43, 34, and 5. The offense absolutely flying. The defense, I'm not going to worry about. We had such a bad start to the year, there's no way the defense was going to look good. But considering absolutely everything that happened, Connor McDavid 110 points, Auston Matthews 96, Carver Hagee 86, this line was absolutely dominating. The rest of the team, not too bad. We're going to ignore Novak's plus minus, because minus 24 is definitely not it. We definitely got to do a little work here on the bottom 6, but other than that, this team's not looking too bad. Ashcroft, 31 wins, 2 shouts, an 898 and a 340. This ain't it. Then again, as I said earlier, the defense was so bad to start the year that his numbers aren't going to look good. The team's numbers aren't going to look good, but we are in the playoffs here, and it looks like we're going to be taking on the New Jersey Devils in the first round. We could potentially beat this New Jersey Devils team, and if we can somehow go on a deep run in year number 3 here and win Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews a Stanley Cup, that would be absolutely ideal. Now, we've actually been elite after that 40 game mark. This team just keeps on winning games here. Do not blow a 3-1 series lead. Do not do that. A 7-4 victory in game number 6 here, and we're off to the second round. Somewhere, Auston Matthews has only been once in his career, and it only took 3 seasons with me. So we're going to be advancing to the second round here, but now we got ourselves a tough task. It's going to be the New York Rangers. They ended up winning the Metro Division, but I'm not really too sure if they can compete with Miami right now. Alright, I think I was gassing this team up a bit too much. We've split the series with the New York Rangers, so that means Game 5 is going to be a massive one. Okay, we got smoked in that one. It's going to be tough to make this comeback here, but we got to start in game number 6. An overtime victory. I think the Rangers should have taken us out there. They messed up by allowing us to take this game, and we're going to win game 7. So here we go, game 7. Can Miami step up here? We're going to be scoring 2 goals in the first period, but so are the Rangers. In the second period, Auston Matthews is going to be carrying the way. He's picking up a power play goal. And in the third period, are we going to be able to complete this one? Yes, we are. 3 more goals. The top line was really showing out here, and we're off to the conference finals. Now, I'm not really too sure if Buffalo did us a solid or not. They did take out the number 1 seeded Tampa Bay Lightning. However, if Buffalo's taking out Tampa in a 5-game series, then that means Buffalo's a good team. If we're able to take them down, we'll be in the Stanley Cup final. Definitely not a place I thought this team would be. But we're absolutely rolling right now, one of the hottest teams in the entire league, and we don't plan on that hot streak stopping now. Okay, so unless we can complete a miracle, after winning game 1, we've lost 3 in a row. The Miami Vipers are about to lock in here, and we're going to make this comeback, and it's going to start in game number 5. A massive 5-3 victory, and in game 6 we're picking up 6. Never mind, we're dropping that one 5-4. Buffalo's off to the Stanley Cup final. They're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. I'm going to take this season as a win. Considering what happened in the first 40 games, losing in the conference finals is pretty good. We know where our weaknesses are, and that's in the bottom 6, of course. The defense can probably use a bit of work, but considering everything, this is a win. After our horrible start to the year, we did the impossible, making it to the playoffs, and on top of that, we made it all the way to the conference finals where we lost in 6 games. A lot of the players we acquired are going to be returning to the team for next season, and on top of that, we're also going to be upgrading this team over the offseason. Some of the young guys are going to be getting better, but our bottom 6, that's going to see a massive overhaul. But our bottom 6 is going to receive a massive overhaul. Obviously, we're going to see Matthews and McDavid leading the way here. They're both picking up 21 points. Matthews 11 goals, McDavid 6. But Ashcroft, I'm kind of curious to see what your numbers are. A 9-12 and a 3-13. Yeah, these are better than your regular season numbers, but not by too much. But I mean, you are 23 years old. You're going to be better at the beginning of next season. You'll probably have some X factors. And then Lidstrom and Berkeley Catton, they're both going to be better as well. Now, we only had 4 picks in the upcoming draft, but we didn't get any superstar prospects. However, we did get 1 defenseman with top 4 potential. Now, as we know, there's a couple of extensions we have to give out here. And Cardwell, you have a great fit on the 4th line here, so I really want to keep you around. I'm willing to do 1.8 for the next 6 seasons. On top of that, Sean Walker, you've also been a useful asset to the team, but I'm not really sure if I want to give you 3.8 million. 3.4 I think is the most I'm willing to give you. And then our final move during the re-sign phase, that's going to Askarov. We're doing 5.8 for the next 6 seasons. That's going to keep him on the team till he's 30 years old, and at that point we're probably going to be bringing in a new goaltender. Alright, I'm actually taking that back. Askarov wants more money, so we're going to do $6 million per year for the next 6 seasons. That's still a pretty good deal for him. You know what? We're just going to do 6.1 because I don't really want to mess around here. Let's just get the goaltender we really want. Okay, he's saying no to that as well. I don't really know what we're going to do here. I mean, at the end of the day, 6.4 is not the end of the world. I'm just trying to save money where I can. So 6.4 for the next 6 years for Askarov. We're getting that deal done. And on top of that, we have a majority of the core coming back. Rajishka's not going to be. Gunstrom's not, and neither is Sebastian Aho. But that's fine. We have $8 million to work with. So we'll definitely be finding some replacements. So we went through the re-sign phase. We made a couple moves, but now we got to give it some extensions. And we're going to start with Jack Quinn, 4.2 for the next 3. That's probably going to be the only extension we're giving out here because Bukestad, Kerfoot, Max Jones, we can find replacements for these guys. Alright, so Valimaki didn't really turn into the player I was expecting, so I'm shipping him out with a 7th round pick, and we're getting Ty Smith for 1 season. He's going to play some 3rd pairing minutes for us, and we also get to free up that contract. So I think this is going to be the final move, picking up a guy like Bolduc, obviously a St. Louis legend. He's going to be a great player. 3 years left on his contract. He's an 83 overall, and he's not getting paid too much money, 2.3 million. I think this is a steal for us. This is going to be a big time move. That's going to be the last move we make over the offseason, and now we're ready to win a Stanley Cup. This team's going to be top 5. So this team right here could potentially be the best in the entire league. Matthews, McDavid, Verhaeghe, Beauvillier, Novak, Lidstrom. This bottom 6 is absolutely incredible. Bukestad's the lowest overall at an 81. This defense right here has virtually no weaknesses. Chatfield and Smith, yeah, they're both 80 overalls. We're getting a +2 boost there, so we're going to be looking pretty good. And the goaltending, Askarov, he's an 87 overall. He's got his X factors this season. Top 5. Top 5 is all I'm asking for. It's not really that much. Then again, I also am asking for top 5. Considering this team was 32nd last season, 82 games into the season. What am I talking about? 82 games into the season, 42 games into the season. I'm bugging right now. This team wasn't good last season. This season, however, we're going to be good. So it looks like the Miami Vipers have finally turned the corner, and they're one of the best teams in the entire league. Right now we're 9th with a 38, 26-5 record, but I know we can improve this after we make a couple of trades. 3.42 goals per game, not the greatest considering we have Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews, but the defense 3.12. I'm actually not going to gas that up. That's not a good defense either. So offensively we're not that great, and defensively we're also not that great. So we're actually just a really mid team right now, but we have 2 of the greatest players in the game. Like right now, Connor McDavid, 86 points. Auston Matthews, 69. He's got 39 goals. And then Carter Verhaeghe, he's got 69 points as well. The rest of the core here, it's not looking too bad. However, we definitely have to upgrade this second line. And I think I know what I'm going to do here. Meanwhile, Askarov, this isn't it. 24 wins, 24 losses, 4 OT, 1 shutout, a 906 and a 307. The only reason we're in a postseason spot right now is because of Kevin Lankinen. Without this man, we're one of the worst in the entire league. No clue how Askarov's been this bad. Like, that makes 0 sense. Now, I think a deal like this could be very good for us. Novak's going to be sent over to the St. Louis Blues, and we're going to see if we can pick up Jordan Kyrou. I'm going to try 1-for-1 here. Obviously, 1-for-1 isn't going to be enough, but I think we can get this deal done pretty easily. So what if I give you a prospect as well? I feel like that should be more than enough for Jordan Kyrou. They're going to be saying no here. I'll throw in a 3rd round pick, and we'll get this deal done. I know for a fact a 3rd round is going to be enough to be the difference maker. Okay, apparently I know nothing. We're going to have to add a bit more. So here's a 5th rounder as well. Is that enough? They're still saying no to this. I actually really want Jordan Kyrou on the team, so I'm giving up way more than we have to. A 3rd, a 5th, a 4th, Novak, and a prospect. All of this for Jordan Kyrou. They're still saying no. All right then, what do we have for prospects? Instead of giving up a ton of prospects, how about we just give up Beauvillier instead? I think that's a smarter move. Now, the reason that we picked up Jordan Kyrou is the second line needs a playmaker right here. We have a power forward in Lidstrom, and we know this man can pick up goals for us. We got Zachary Bolduc, a great young player, only 24 years old. He's going to continue to develop. But what this line needs is a playmaker, and that's exactly what Jordan Kyrou brings to the table. He also plays in the St. Louis Blues, so he has that going for him too. So I was expecting after making that move for Jordan Kyrou, this team was going to be a bit better, but 9th in the entire league isn't necessarily too bad. A 45-30-7 record, but we have Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid on our team. We have to be better than this. The offense stepped up after the trade deadline. The defense was a bit better as well. Maybe next season's going to be our year. But you know what? I don't want to count this team out yet because we do have Connor McDavid and we do have Auston Matthews, and these guys make big time plays. Connor McDavid 107, Auston Matthews 85, Verhaeghe 83, Jordan Kyrou, we picked you up at the trade deadline. What'd you do since joining the team? 11 points in 13 games. That's not necessarily too bad. Now the goaltending numbers, these are great. Askarov 31 wins, 3 shouts, a 909, a 294. We remember what they looked like at the trade deadline. He's been way better since. But I want those numbers to continue to get better here because we're in the postseason, and if we're going to win, we need fantastic goaltending numbers. We have the Philadelphia Flyers in the first round. This is going to be a tough matchup for us. Alright, so this isn't it. We're down 3-1 in the series. We won in Game 4. We won in Game 5. Are we going to actually make a comeback here and win in Game 6? Okay, never mind. We're out in the first round. That was very anticlimactic. I thought we were going to make some massive comeback here, only to lose 5-3. Alright, it's time to get serious. Stick on the ice statement. That's how you know it's serious. We're going to be a top 3 team for the next 5 years, and we're winning 2 Stanley Cups. We have Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews. There's no reason we should be disappointing like this. Alright, so this team just didn't perform. Straight up, Auston Matthews 1 goal, Connor McDavid 1 goal. I don't know what this team needs to do. I think we just might need a new goaltender because Askarov, actually these are pretty good. 2 wins, a 920 and a 277. I'll take this. I'm going to assume this season was a fluke. We're going to be better next season. We're going to win some big time games next season. We're going to win over 53 games, and the Miami Vipers are going to be taking home a couple Stanley Cups. Alright, so if we're going to turn this team around, that's going to start with good drafting, and with 156th overall, we're going to be securing a low league potential sniper. I highly doubt this guy's going to turn into anything because he is a 48 overall, but we can always hope for the best. Alright, so we're doing absolutely nothing during the re-sign phase. We didn't really have anyone to bring back. We could have brought back Bukestad, but I didn't want to pay him the money. We had a couple RFAs that weren't really that good. They're like 60 overalls with AHL potential. We're not worried about them. We got to make sure that we have enough money to bring Auston Matthews back because it's time to give him an extension. And we are somehow saving a ton of money with Auston Matthews here. We're going to do $10 million per year for the next 8 years. That's $3 million less than what he's getting paid right now. That's an absolute steal. However, we also have some more guys to give extensions to, and Berkeley Catton, you're going to be the next one. But maybe not, because $8.3 million, I'm not really sure if that's worth it for a third line guy. You're a fantastic player for us, you're one of the best young players we have on this team, but at that price point, I'm not sure if it's worth it. Lindstrom, on the other hand, I'll give you a bag. Lindstrom, you've been playing some big second line minutes for us, so I want to keep you around 6.5 for the next 8. It might be pretty hypocritical willing to pay Lindstrom and not Berkeley Catton, considering Berkeley Catton is 2 overalls higher, but you know what? Lindstrom's playing second line minutes, Catton's only playing third. It doesn't really make sense. So I'll ride out Berkeley's contract for this season, I'll qualify him as an RFA, and then next season we're probably going to be trading him away. It sucks to say, but that's just the way it goes. So we're going to make 2 signings during free agency. The first one's going to Nick Wall. We're giving him 2 years at $2.3 million. He's going to be a good 4th line guy for us. And then the next one's going to be Will Borgren. We're going to give him a bag, 4.5 for next season. He wants 3 years, but if I give him $1 million more for 1 year, I know for a fact he's going to accept this deal. These are going to be the 2 moves we make this season. The young core got even better. We're definitely going to be a top 5 team. There's no question about it. Askarov, I have complete faith in you. You're going to lead us to greatness. Now we are going to make one trade here, and we're picking up Hugo, and the reason that we're doing this trade right here, I completely forgot to get a backup goaltender for this team, so we're going to have to trade a 4th rounder. Not necessarily the end of the world, but probably could have got one on a cheaper contract. So here's the team that's going to be finishing top 5 in the league. McDavid, Verhaeghe, Matthews, Lindstrom, Bolduc, Kyrou, and this bottom 6 here is absolutely incredible. No weaknesses whatsoever. A +1 boost on the 4th line, a +2 on the 3rd, a +2 on the 2nd, then a +5 on that 1st line. We know this 1st line can compete. The rest of the lines, they got to prove it to me. When it comes to the defense, it's basically the same old suspects. Travis Sanheim, he's leading the way at an 87 overall. He's got an X factor. He's getting a +2 overall boost with Eric Chernak. That was a great pickup. The rest of the defensemen here, I have zero problem with. If I was going to have one issue with anyone on this team, it's going to be Askarov. I need you to step up this season. The numbers you had last season did not reflect how good this team was. In the postseason, you were a bit better, but we folded. I need a fantastic regular season out of you, and I also need a fantastic postseason. I can't have you being inconsistent whatsoever. So we do have some cap space we can work with here, so we're going to simulate up to the trade deadline and then make some moves to make this team even better. We're probably going to pick up another defenseman because our bottom pairing could use a bit of an upgrade. So the Miami Vipers are easily the most confusing team in the league right now. Yeah, we're 5th here, looking fantastic with a 38, 20, and 6 record. The offense not too bad, 3.41 goals per game. The defense is fantastic, 2.7 allowed. But the only question I ask, why did we start the season 4-8-4 and then proceed to win 10 straight games and then lose 8 straight after that and then win like 15 in a row? I will never understand this team. Obviously, the big time players are going to do their thing. Connor McDavid, 80 points. Matthews, 69 points, but he's got 34 goals here. Verhaeghe, 62. Kyrou, 47. Quinn, 46. Bolduc, he's got 36 here. The second line really has not been that good. Like 36 points. I really don't understand why y'all aren't performing. Meanwhile, the goaltending numbers, I'm happy to say Askarov's having a much better season. 29 wins, 3 shouts, a 914 to 270. These are numbers I can work with. And these numbers are about to get better because we're picking up a defenseman here. All right, so I think this is going to be the play for us. We're going to bring in Mikey Anderson for this season. We're probably going to keep him around at this cap hit, 4.1 million for the next 4. I can work with that. Chatfield and the first round picks getting sent over to LA. They're going to be saying no here, but we got some prospects we can send over as well. I'll give you this prospect right here, and I think that'll be enough to get this deal done. And then Mikey Anderson, more than likely you're going to be sticking on the team here. I think Noah Hannafin's going to get traded during the offseason because not only are you 3 years younger than Noah Hannafin, but you're the same overall and you're a lot cheaper. But until then, we're keeping both these guys around and we're going to win a Stanley Cup. So how we're going to do this is we're going to have Mikey Anderson on the second line and then Noah Hannafin's going to drop down to the third. So that means we have a defensive defenseman on every single pairing here. We're going to be able to keep the puck out of our net. And I know for a fact this team's going to be able to score goals. Matthews, McDavid, Verhaeghe. We only need one line. These 3 guys can hold it down. Now, the Miami Vipers actually had a pretty strong season here. 5th in the entire league with a 50, 25, and 7 record. I can't complain about that. Much better than last season. The offense, pretty solid here. 3.57 goals for. But the defense, best in the entire league. 2.67. You know what? I was talking about potentially trading Noah Hannafin. With a defense like this, we're running it back next season with the exact same guys. Now, these kings right here, McDavid, Matthews, Verhaeghe, you had great numbers during the regular season. I don't care in the slightest. I want to see that in the postseason. Askarov, 37 wins, 3 shouts, a 912 and a 279. Don't care. I want to see this in the playoffs. And this is where it all begins, the playoffs. We lost in the first round last season. We're not going to talk about what happened. We have the New Jersey Devils this time around. We don't have to take on Philly. It's time for this team to bounce back and go on a deep run. Matthews, McDavid, Verhaeghe, I'm relying on y'all. And I'm happy to say this time around, we're not going to be down 3-1 this series, but we're actually going to be up 3-1. And in game number 5, we're looking to close this one out. A 5-1 victory. Not only was the offense looking good, but the defense was as well. Now, I don't know if I should be thanking the Boston Bruins or if I should be incredibly scared of them. They somehow upset the 57-win New York Rangers, and now we're taking on Boston in the second round. Boston, if you beat New York, you're no joke. We got to be prepared for this team. We can't count them out. Okay, so far this series with the Boston Bruins has been a defensive-minded one. We scored 3 goals here and we won. We scored 2 goals here and we won. We allowed 2 lost and we allowed 2 lost. Whoever's going to be the best defensive team is going to win this series. And you know what? We're known for our defense, so it's time for that to show in game number 5. We allowed 5 goals. You're kidding me, right? We better win here. We're scoring 5 ourselves and we're off to game 7. The way I was gassing up our defense, we couldn't fall apart like that. That just wouldn't work. We're going to be picking up 2 goals here in the first period. In the second, though, we're falling apart, allowing 2. And the third period's where we take over, though. Connor McDavid, Auston Matthews, Verhaeghe, it's time for you to pick up some big time goals. Matthews is going to be tying this one up. We're off to overtime, and in OT, this one's going to be decided by Marchand. You got to be kidding me. We lost to a 41-win team. To be fair, they beat the 57-win New York Rangers, so we couldn't count them out, but even still, you hate to see it. So yeah, the Stanley Cup champions are the Boston Bruins. The 41 win or 43, I don't really recall what it was. Boston Bruins are winning the Stanley Cup. Ain't no way. Also, I do want to point out, outside the New York Rangers, we put up the biggest fight against Boston, taking 3 games away from them. Toronto only took 2 and Winnipeg only took 1. So Boston was legit, I'll give them that. Now, clearly, it was the offense once again for this team. Matthews, McDavid, Verhaeghe, you guys stepped up. The rest of the team here, it just wasn't that good. Jack Quinn, I'm happy we have you under contract. And you know what? I think you're going to be playing some top 6 minutes next season. I think there's a good chance of that. Jordan Kyrou, I might even trade you. I haven't decided yet because Lidstrom, where you an 85 overall, you're playing top 6 minutes because we have to clear up some cap space because Berkeley Catton, I think you're coming back to this team. You're an 87 overall, medium league potential. I know I said I might trade you away, but things have changed. Meanwhile, Ashcroft, I'm so sorry. You're an 87 overall. Look at all those X factors. 7 wins here, 1 shutout, a 935 and a 206. Okay, this team's scoring goals next season. We're keeping the defense mainly the same, but we're reinventing the offense because there's no way we shouldn't win a Stanley Cup with these numbers right here. Like, in all seriousness, Allmark, great numbers, a 925 and a 262. These are Stanley Cup numbers. Howbuck, these are pretty good as well, but then just look at Ashcroft's, a 935 and a 204. Look at these numbers compared to everyone else. We should have won this Stanley Cup. So we already know we don't have a ton of picks in the draft, but with the picks we do have, we are getting some great prospects here. With 156th overall, a medium elite potential goaltender. And that's not going to be the only elite potential player we get here, because with 189th overall, a low elite potential sniper. So Berkeley Catton, the plan is to bring you back for next season, but however, right now we don't have the money for you. We're going to make some trades here during the offseason. We're going to free up that money, and then you'll be rejoining the team. And the guy that we're going to be trading away, I'm sorry to say, Jordan Kyrou. I want to keep him on this team, but I don't want to drop him down to the third line and then pay him $8 million. So here's the plan. Jordan Kyrou, I told you, you're probably not coming back next season. Noah Hanifin, you're another guy that's not going to be rejoining the team because we have to clear up cap space. David Jiricek, we need some help on the right side, and that's exactly what you would provide to this team. An 88 overall at 24 years old, and we'll have you locked down for the next 3 years. On top of that, we're also going to be picking up this rookie here. He's a 78 overall at 19 years old, and he can fit on our bottom 6. This is a very smart move for this team. Well, it's a smart move as long as I can get it done. However, there is one thing we do have right now, and that's draft picks, because I haven't really traded a lot of draft picks the past 2 seasons, so I think a second rounder will be enough to get this one done. Never mind, we're going to need to include a bit more. A second and third rounder. All of this for David Jiricek and that young rookie. I'm sending that over. It's still not enough. No messing around. Let's start throwing first round picks in the deal. We're going to be a really good team this season, so this first rounder is not going to have a lot of value, but I'm still going to throw it in the deal. They're still saying no. A first and second rounder, but the second rounder is going to be for next season. I don't care what we have to give up. David Jiricek's the man we're missing. Okay, I sort of care what we have to give up because this is a lot right here. But you know what? We're getting the players we want, so it's worth it. We're very close in value. So maybe we don't trade Noah Hanifin here, and we actually send him to a third team that wants him. So Noah Hanifin, a third round pick. Can we get the Edmonton Oilers first rounder for this upcoming season? They're going to be saying no. That's perfectly fine. We'll just move on to another team. Tampa, would you be willing to give up your first round pick for Noah Hanifin and a third rounder? I didn't think you would be, but I had to offer. Maybe the Toronto Maple Leafs would do this deal. Noah Hanifin and a third rounder. A third rounder is definitely not going to be enough. I don't know why I just keep offering a third rounder. Maybe a third and fourth rounder. That should be enough to get a first round pick. I'm going to send that over. They're still saying no. We're moving on. Vegas, are you interested in moving your first round pick? Because I'll offer the exact same package to you. You're going to be saying no. Whichever team is willing to accept this deal, I'll do it with. I don't care which team it is. I don't care what first rounder. The Winnipeg Jets, will you give me that for Noah Hanifin? They're going to be saying no. We'll keep on moving on. Now, we actually might be able to do this deal with the Buffalo Sabres. However, we do have to take on somebody's salary. I'm actually perfectly fine with that. Who is the lowest overall player on this team? I mean, I guess the lowest trade value player. Sebastian Aho. Can we get this deal done for Buffalo's first round pick? I'm going to send that over. They're saying no, but if we include a 7th rounder, we'll be able to get it done. So I'm going to trade the 7th rounder over to the Buffalo Sabres, and we're going to be getting a first rounder, and we're about to flip that first round pick. So a package like this is going to be more than enough to get this deal done, but I think we actually might be able to get a draft pick back in exchange now. Let's see if we can get their third rounder. So 2 first rounders and Jordan Kyrou for Jiricek, that young rookie, and a third round pick. I'm offering that over. They're saying no, but we just have to sweeten the touch a little bit here. I'll throw a 7th rounder in this deal, and we're getting it done. So we're going to be getting a third rounder back in exchange. I like this deal. But we're not done there. The moves are going to continue. And then Sebastian Aho, I'm going to ship you over to the Carolina Hurricanes, and we're going to get a 4th rounder in the deal. All those moves I think worked out pretty well for us. So Berkeley Catton, you are going to be staying on this team, but not at 8.3 million. We're going to do 7.5 for the next 4 years. That's a pretty good contract for you, and we get to keep you around on this team. Zachary Bolduc, on the other hand, we're probably going to ride out your contract, then trade you next season, because I don't know how much money you want, but you've dropped to the third line, and I don't really want to pay you $6 million to play on the third line, if I'm being completely honest here. So we got to pick up another defenseman here, and ironically, we're doing another deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're picking up Carson Lambos. No, the fact that we've basically taken 3 players away from Columbus and a third of their defensive core is kind of funny. And then Carson Lambos, this is a great deal for you. We're doing 1.6 for the next 5 years. Even though you're only a 78 overall, that price tag is definitely worth it. So we're going to make one major free agent signing here. It's not really a major one, but Jack McBain, I'm bringing you in 2.5 for the next 2 years. You're going to play some bottom 6 minutes for us. Outside of that, we're basically bringing back the exact same team, but you know what? This team can definitely compete, so I'm not too concerned. The young guys got a bit better over the offseason, so by rights, we should be an even better team. Alright, so bad news. Berkeley Catton, he's declining our deal, and I don't think he wants to sign with the team anymore. Actually, it looks like he still does. We're going to do a similar deal. I guess we're just going to do $7.8 million for the next 4 years. I feel like that's pretty reasonable for him. And then Carson Lambos, I still want to do like a 4-year deal or something. We'll do 4 years at $1.8 million. That's $100K more than what you're asking for, so I can guarantee you're coming to the team now. Okay, Berkeley Catton, you know what? I'll just give you exactly what you want. I don't know why you're being such an L-mans about this. I was giving you like, what, 600K less or something? Bro, just sign the extension. You want less money now. Okay, maybe we can do 7.8 million. I'll do 7.8 million, which is literally identical to what I just offered you. But for some reason, your asking price now is less. So yeah, 7.8 million for Berkeley Catton. I think that deal's actually going to get accepted this time. I'm just going to simulate day by day until he accepts. Yeah, we're not trading him away. I can tell you that right now. Accept the contract. Okay, sometimes this game confuses me, but you know what? We'll take it. Okay, so this team seriously needs to stop messing around. McDavid's a 98, Auston Matthews a 96. McDavid's 31 while Matthews is 30. The rest of this forward core is absolutely incredible. We're going to be giving this rookie some bottom 6 minutes. He's going to be playing on the third line. That's going to lead to a +2 overall boost. This is a very good team right here. And the defense, probably even better. Sanheim, Jiricek, Chernak, Mikey Anderson. This top 4 is absolutely incredible. And the third pairing, that's pretty solid as well. And to cap it all off, we have a great goaltender, Ashcroft. He's an 87 overall. He still has medium elite potential. Live up to the hype. I need this team to play good for 82 games and then 16 good games in the playoffs, and we'll win a Stanley Cup. It really shouldn't be that difficult with the amount of talent we have on this team. Alright, so this team was looking so good, I just went right to the end of the season. We're first with a 53, 23, and 6 record. An offense that I think is best in the entire league it is, and a defense that's definitely top 3 for sure. That's the best as well. So our offense is the best and our defense is the best. Do not screw this up. Whatever you do, do not screw this up in the playoffs. Absolutely everyone was performing on this team. Matthews 108, McDavid 99. I actually am expecting a bit more from you. Verhaeghe 92. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what it is with the second line, but the second line never plays that great. I mean, Lindstrom 61 points, Catton 70, and then Quinn 70, but just look at the plus minus. There's no reason you should have 70 points and they're only +6 and +3. Meanwhile, this might be Ashcroft's best season. 44 wins, 4 shouts, a 911 and a 276. Perform. That's all I'm asking. Perform in the playoffs. You did last time around, there's no question about that, but the team didn't play in front of you. The team wasn't scoring goals. I guess we have one game left to simulate in the season, or one day. I don't know. All I know is we're one of the best teams in the entire league. We are the best. As long as Dallas doesn't play another game and then they win their next one, because I think then they would be ahead of us. You know what? It doesn't matter. The Miami Vipers are the best team in the entire league, and it looks like we're going to be starting off the postseason against the Boston Bruins. Of course we're playing Boston in the first round. No, in all seriousness, y'all better not lose here. I cannot afford a first round loss to the Boston Bruins right now. We're really going to lose this. We split the series 2 games apiece. I can't handle a loss here. Okay, we're winning in overtime. Perform in game 6. Don't go to game 7. Whatever you do, do not go to game 7. I hate this team with a passion. I can't handle another loss to the Boston Bruins. They won 41 games during the regular season. Miami, step up in the third period. The big time players have to make some big time plays here. We lost. I hate this team so much. I really hate this team. Why does this always happen? I am so sick and tired of this. The Boston Bruins are beating Miami once again, but this time in the first round. Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews may never win together. We were first in the entire league, and we lost to a team that was probably 16th or 17th. Ain't no way that just happened. Also, the big time players definitely didn't make big time plays here, as Jack Quinn led the team in scoring. Yeah, you heard that right. Jack Quinn led the way. Okay, the fact that Auston Matthews is this far down and I don't even see McDavid's name, nah, that's wild. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. He had 3 points here. I can't even form words to describe my disappointment. Ashcroft, these numbers aren't horrible, but they're not good. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm just speechless. Alright, so this team clearly has a couple issues. We finished first in the entire league, but when push came to shove, we lost in the first round to the Boston Bruins. What do we actually do with our team? Like, real talk. We were first in the entire league, so obviously we're a good team. There's no question about that. but somehow we always lose in the important games. We're going to bring back a majority of the same core. However, we are going to be making a few changes. Bolduc, I know you're going to be leaving the team. Jack Quinn, you could potentially be leaving the team, barring how much you're going to want for an extension. You have one more year left on your deal, but if you're wanting like $8 million, $9 million, then we'll probably have to trade you away. We're going to make a lot of difficult decisions here, but it's going to be for the betterment of the team. Also, Edmonton won the Stanley Cup, if you were wondering. All right, so we're taking a huge risk in the draft here with the 62nd overall pick, but it's working out well for us. A high elite potential goaltender. He might only be a 48 overall, and he's probably not going to play for our team. He's cut to the chase. McDavid, he's probably only got 5 years left. He will be a good trade piece, though. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. $6.5 million is too much for Zachary Bolduc. It really is for a third-line guy. I'm just saying it's way too much. That doesn't mean I'm not going to bring him back. Nick Waugh, Sean Walker, Dakota Joshua, we're going to find replacements for all of you guys, unless you're willing to sign reasonable contracts. Nick Waugh, I can do 1.9 for next season. That's a good deal. Sean Walker, what are you going to be looking for? You're 34 years old. I can do a 1-year deal at $2.1 million. That's actually a pretty fair contract as well. And Dakota Joshua, are you also going to be willing to do a reasonable contract? 2.5 is quite a bit, but you know what? A 1-year deal at 2.2, I can work with that. So all of these guys are going to be brought back. We're going to sign these 2 rookies here, and we're basically going to run back with the exact same team. We kind of have to. We were first in the entire league. We can't screw this up. Never mind, Dakota Joshua is not going to be rejoining the team. Sean Walker is. Nick Waugh is not going to rejoin. The real question is Zachary Bolduc going to be rejoining? He's going to say no. You know what? I'm actually perfectly fine with that because I can offer you more money. I'll do $7 million per year for the next 6 years. How about 7.1? That should be more than enough. Is 7.1 enough for Zachary Bolduc? Yes, it is. He's going to be rejoining the team. With Nick Waugh and Joshua, we'll just find replacements. We're also going to be walking away from Hugo here unless he wants like $1 million. Yeah, 2.2 for an 83. It's actually a decent price for a goaltender, but we can find a cheaper replacement. So we have to give out some extensions here. And Jack Quinn, you're being more than reasonable. We're doing 6.4 for the next 6 years. More than likely, that's keeping you around for the rest of the rebuild. Now, Carver Hagee, I would love to bring you back as well. 10.6 million is definitely not happening, but even 9 million is not happening. So I actually think we're going to be riding out your contract, and then we'll sign somebody next season. So as we know, majority of the team's coming back, but we do need to make some upgrades to the bottom 6. So 2 third-rounders are being sent over to the Florida Panthers, and we're picking up Hemming. We can probably sign him for around 2.1 million, so that's a pretty good deal. So here's the contract we're going to be doing with Hemming. It's going to be 4 years at 1.9 million. That's a pretty solid contract if you ask me. And for our backup goaltender, we got to go with the absolute legend in Joel Hofer. I'm giving him more than what he's asking for. We want him for 2 years at $1 million. St. Louis legend, by the way. All right, so this isn't our last chance, but it's one of the best chances we have at winning a Stanley Cup. McDavid, Matthews, Verhaeghe. We know Verhaeghe's not coming back next season. Jack Quinn, an 86 overall. Berkeley Catton, an 88. Lindstrom, an 86. And all of them have X factors, getting a +3 boost here. The third line's going to be getting a +2, and so is the fourth. This forward core here is absolutely phenomenal, and they know how to score goals. You know what our defense knows how to do? Stop pucks. David Jiricek, he's got a superstar X factor. They're getting a +5 boost on the first pairing. He's a 90 overall. Sanheim's an 85. The rest of the defensemen here, absolutely incredible. Carson Lambos, he's up to an 80 overall. That's some good progression from him. For the contract we're paying him, that's an absolute steal of a deal. Meanwhile, the goaltending, Ascroft here, an 87 overall, exact elite potential now. If you continue to play like an elite potential goaltender like you did last season, and this team learns how to score some goals in the playoffs, then we'll be taking home the Stanley Cup in probably 18 games. We are that good of a team, but when push comes to shove, we flop. So at this point, it's become a very common trend with this team, sucking in the first 15 games of the year. This team started the season 2-8-3. Here we are 6th in the entire league with a 38-20-7 record. So we're a good team. We're probably actually the best team in the entire league, but our record doesn't reflect that. 3.43 goals per game, 2.95 allowed. The defense isn't too bad, but it's definitely seen better days. Now, obviously, when it comes to the goal scoring and just scoring on this team in general, Matthews and McDavid are leading the way. For Hagee, 63 points, can't complain about that. The second line is a disappointment once again. I don't know why the second line's always a disappointment, but it just seems to be. Like, you can't tell me that Caden Lindstrom, Berkeley Catton, and Jack Quinn is a weak second line. There's no weaknesses there whatsoever. What's Jack Quinn's defensive stats? 3.5 stars. What's Berkeley Catton's? 5-star. What's Caden Lindstrom's? 4-star. Is it just because these guys don't score? Because honestly, it doesn't really make much sense. Ascroft, 32 wins, 2 shots, a 912 and a 275. Good goaltending numbers. You stepped up in the postseason. We need you. We just don't score. Plain and simple. Like, if we scored goals during the postseason, we would have 3 Stanley Cups by now. We're going to be making one trade here to fill out the bottom 6. I don't know what that trade's going to be, but we're going to do something. And I've already decided on which guy we're going to be picking up. That's going to be Evan Rodriguez. I don't even know why I'm having them retain money, but I guess I am. We're trading a first round pick straight up for Evan Rodriguez. He's going to play on the third line. It's a massive upgrade for our bottom six. This team should win. There is no reason that the Miami Vipers should not win a Stanley Cup right here. McDavid and Matthews, you're getting your first this season. Okay, with a bottom six like this, by rights, we should win 55 games. I can't see anyone stopping this bottom six, let alone anyone stopping this top six right here. You know what? We're going to leave Verhaeghe on the left wing. I don't know why I always put Auston Matthews on the left wing, but for the rest of this, because the coach seems to want it, Matthews are playing on the right side. I don't know if it makes any difference. That's just what we're going to do. Okay, I have completely given up with the logic in this game because the Miami Vipers, 10th in the entire league, 45, 29, and 8. The second line let us down. The reason that we're 10th in the entire league or 9th, I don't even remember what it was. I don't really care what it was. I wasn't paying that much attention. It's because of this right here. Jack Quinn, Berkeley Catton, Lindstrom. How are y'all this bad? Lindstrom, what are you, an 86 overall? Berkeley Catton, what are you, an 88? And then Jack Quinn, what are you, an 86? How do you guys have a negative plus minus? It makes absolutely no sense if you ask me. Rodriguez, what'd you do since joining the team here? You had 6 points in 17 games, so you were just completely useless. Askarov, good enough numbers. I have absolutely no hope for the playoffs here. We're playing the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm fully expecting us to get swept in the first round, or we're going to make it all the way to the conference finals and match up against the Boston Bruins and lose to them again. I was literally about to lose my mind. I thought we were about to get swept. Instead, we're going to lose in 6 games because that's so much better. Okay, thankfully we're off to game 7 here. We should not be in game 7 though. All right, so here we go. Here we're picking up the first 2 goals of the period. That's exactly what we need. I don't know why I said the first 2 goals of the period. Doesn't matter. We're up 4-1. We're winning this game 4-2. I don't care what the score is. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm going to be completely honest. I was looking at who scored goals. We're winning 4-3. I'm yapping a lot. We're off to the second round. That's all that matters. Shout out to Carver Hagee. No, but in all seriousness, I probably should pay a bit more attention, seeing as we're in the year 2030 and neither Auston Matthews or Connor McDavid have won a Stanley Cup. I'm supposed to be building a dynasty here and I'm supposed to win them 5-6 Stanley Cups together, but nope, the year 2030 and we're yet to win one. So let's just go ahead, simulate against the New York Rangers here and probably get swept, seeing as they are the best team in the entire league here. We don't stand a hope. We actually got swept. We really got swept to this team. I was kidding when I said we're going to get swept to the New York Rangers, but that really happened. We really lost here. Jack Quinn led the way. If Jack Quinn is leading us in scoring, then we're toast. We didn't stand a chance here. McDavid, 6 points in 11 games. Jack Quinn led the way. The second line is what led the way for us. Auston Matthews, you had 1 goal in 11 games. I don't even know what to say anymore. I really don't. You guys are just frauds. And I don't care in the slightest who wins the Stanley Cup. We're immediately heading to the draft. We don't own our first round pick. We're going to make some sort of move here. I don't even know what to do to make this team better. I really don't. Okay, so this is going to be a massive risk what we're about to do here, but we're changing the coach. I think we have to change this coach if we're going to be winning a Stanley Cup. He has a great line fit with the team. He has some great team chemistry. I think it's like 70%, but we clearly cannot win with that man. So we got to change things up here, and I think it's got to start with the head coach. Because the team we have here, it's a good team, and we should be winning. I mean, before we even get to the draft, I mean, Carver Hagee, do you want an extension? I can do 5.9 for 2 years. That is actually a very reasonable deal. Now, I don't really want to do 2 years with Carver Hagee because he is 34 years old and I don't know what he's going to look like. But 5.7 for 1 season, I think that's worth it. That means we're going to be bringing basically the exact same team back next season. We're going to lose Rodriguez, but that's perfectly fine. We're losing McBain. We'll lose Sean Walker. We'll find replacements for these guys. And with a new coach at the helm, we'll be winning a Stanley Cup. All right, so on top of bringing a new coach in, we're also going to be bringing in some new prospects. And that's going to start with a medium elite potential defensive defenseman. Similar to the goaltender we got in the last draft, this guy's not going to develop quick enough for us, so he's going to be a good trade asset. And that's not going to be the only elite potential player we get here, because with 188th overall, we're going to be getting a low elite potential one as well. So when it comes to the re-sign phase, we're not going to be bringing any notable players back. We'll sign a couple of rookies, qualify a few RFAs, but other than that, nothing significant. So obviously when it comes to giving extensions, we got to make sure we keep the important players around, and David Jiricek, you're one of them. Here's 10.5 for the next 6. Carver Hagee, we're probably going to let you walk. Mikey Anderson, we might be letting you walk as well, barring how much you want. We actually can't give you an extension right now. Don't really know why that's the case. Eric Chernak, you're not going to be coming back. Sanheim, you're not coming back. You dropped to an 82 overall. You actually might be gone this season. I might be trading you away. The defensive core is going to be seeing a massive upgrade next season. Well, it's definitely going to see a lot of changes, but first we got to can the coach, because that man has not been cooking the past couple of years here. We got to fire him and bring somebody new in. Yes, you've won us a lot of games during the regular season, but you have not won any playoff games with us. So now it's time to bring in a new coach. Hopefully there's an upgrade available. Okay, so this is the deal that's going to help our defense. The medium elite potential player we just drafted, a medium elite potential goaltender, and a first round pick sent over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're getting Bodie. He's a left defenseman. He's an 86 overall. He's got X factors, but more importantly, 2 years left on his deal, and he's still in his entry level contract. I'm sending all this over. They're going to be saying no. I do not care how much it takes. Here's a second rounder as well. I feel like this should be more than enough. Pittsburgh's accepting that deal. Honestly, I'm very surprised. I didn't think they would, but now it's time to ship out Travis Sanheim. So which teams would be willing to take on his contract? There's actually quite a few here, but we can get a third round pick from the Dallas Stars. I'll definitely do that. Okay, so we have $12 million in cap space and Boquist. For one season, I feel like this isn't a bad deal. We're doing 7.7. We're bringing you on just for this one season here, and the next season you'll walk away from the team. Also, we do have this low elite potential player who's a 79 overall. He might be able to jump to the lineup, so I'll do 3 years at 1.4 million. That's not too bad of a contract for him. And then I think this is going to be the final signing during free agency. Luosterainen, I'll definitely do 2.6 for next season. Okay, so this season right here is just honestly a massive risk. Connor McDavid, you're 97 overall, 33 years old. Auston Matthews, 96 overall, 32 years old. By bringing in a new coach, the line chemistry is completely changed. But you know what? We got to spark something here. We're going to have a lot of guys playing out of position. Like, for example, Lidstrom, he's going to be playing on the right wing, normally plays on the left. It doesn't matter. Something has to change because clearly the last coach we had wasn't it. The defense, it's looking a bit weaker here, but Bodie and Jiricek, they're going to be leading the way. We're going to rely on those guys big time. And another guy we have to rely on, Askarov. I have no clue how this season's going to go. We're either going to win 55 games or we're going to be the worst team in the league. I feel like there's no in between. I mean, we won't be the worst because we are going to have Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews, but even still, the line chemistry is not there. I am very concerned with how this team's going to perform, but you know what? Something had to change because losing in the first round for that many years in a row and always being disappointed, it's not right. It shouldn't be happening like that. Now, seasons like this is when I really question the simulation. First in the entire league, 41 wins here, an offense that's producing 3.67 goals per game, and a defense that's 3.09. How are we first in the entire league? Our coach doesn't have a single good fit with anyone on this team. But hey, luckily the top guys are performing here, but more importantly, the second line's actually doing something. Berkeley Catton plus 29. This has never happened before. I don't know why you guys are producing now, but you are. And goaltending numbers, I'm not expecting those to be too good here. Askarov, 31 wins, 2 shots, a 910 to 287. Considering what our team's allowing per game, these aren't too bad. Like, look at Joel Holfer, an 891 to 352, but yet he has a 10-3-1 record. All right then. Also, there is one player I saw in the trade block that I'm willing to trade quite a lot for. His name is Nathan MacKinnon. Look how much trade value he has for a 35-year-old. I know for a fact this man's going to play a couple more years. That could be the move. Even David Pastrnak, I think we're going with Pasta. Pasta's is a bit lower. It's going to be dependent on who wants our medium elite potential goaltender. Sorry, not medium elite potential goaltender, high elite potential, because we could hypothetically do a trade like this. I'm just checking to see if Colorado wants an elite potential goaltender prospect. They do. Nathan MacKinnon. I mean, this is pretty hard to turn down. We could potentially get this man right here. He is 35 years old. How old's David Pastrnak? If Pasta's less than 35, we're going with Pasta. Pasternak's 34. You know what? I'm taking that statement back. We're going to try to get Nathan MacKinnon because 1 year is not going to make that much of a difference. Nathan MacKinnon on the first line alongside Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews. We're guaranteed a Stanley Cup. Colorado, I am going to need you to retain salary. Maybe $3 million would be enough. Could we do this trade if you do $3 million? Nope. It looks like you're going to have to retain 50%. Now this high elite potential prospect for Nathan MacKinnon at 50% retained. Obviously, they're saying no to that. I never expected them to accept it. However, what if I throw some picks in the deal? Here's a second rounder, as well as that high elite potential player. They're going to be saying no here. I'll throw a third rounder in as well. And ideally, we actually bring Nathan MacKinnon back for next season. So I'm going to be sending all that over. They're saying no, but we have to add a 7th rounder. A lucrative 7th round pick is landing us Nathan MacKinnon. That's the move we're making. Time to win. So we're going to do this right here. Matthews, McDavid, MacKinnon, Quinn, Catton, Lindstrom. We have to win a Stanley Cup. There is no other option. All right, so I'm not going to gas this team up. They were low-key pretty mid after making that MacKinnon trade. 49, 22, and 11. We're first in the entire league. 3.7 is pretty good, but this goals against of a 3.05, that's not it. Defensively, we have to be much better. But you know what? As long as we can score goals, we'll be okay. McDavid, he's picking up 106. Matthews, 102. Nathan MacKinnon, you got 97, but what'd you do since joined the team? That's the real question. question. 21 points in 15 games and you were +7. That's what I'm looking for. This first line is going to make or break the team. We're either winning a Stanley Cup because of it or we're losing a Stanley Cup. Askarov, you do what you do. I'm perfectly fine with these numbers. You always step it up in the postseason. But here we go. The Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon. All of them are on the same team and they're all on the first line together. You guys better average 5 goals a game. I've just fully given up at this point. We're really about to lose in 5 games here. It's going to happen. The defense let us down, plain and simple. But even still, we were not scoring goals here. We allowed 8 goals here, 7 goals here, 6 goals here. That was a pathetic defensive performance. Like during the regular season, we were averaging 3 goals per game. Not the best in the world, but it wasn't the worst by far. You're telling me 3 goals per game in the regular season turned into this disaster? I don't even know what to do. I really don't. And to cap it all off, Toronto won the Stanley Cup. We can't catch a single break in this video. No way the Toronto Maple Leafs have won more Stanley Cups than Auston Matthews has probably won series in this video. Because I think we've only won maybe 4 series. I mean, to be fair, I know for a fact the Leafs have not won 4 Stanley Cups in this video, but you get the point. This team has seen no success. Now these numbers must just look absolutely abysmal. Nathan McKinnon 4 points, Connor McDavid 3 points, Matthews 3 points, but these goaltending numbers, wow, I did not think it was possible to be this bad. An 847 and a 545. Bro had a 545 and he's an 87 overall. Goaltending stats mean absolutely nothing in this game, and I'm fully convinced of that, as 82 overall Georgiev is winning a Stanley Cup. This is actually a joke. Connor Ingram at 34 years old made to the Cup final. Nah, this game is broken. I mean, I don't care if Nathan McKinnon drops an overall. We're bringing him back to the team. We're so incredibly desperate, it doesn't really matter. Nathan McKinnon, $10 million for the next 2 years. Instead of keeping Verhaeghe, we're going to keep Nathan McKinnon. I can't even get excited like prospects like this. The 29th overall Isbister, low league potential power forward. He's a 66 overall, but we already know he's going to be a complete flop based on how all the players have developed in this video. Okay, so Carter Verhaeghe, you actually had the most points in the playoffs for us. So if you're willing to sign an extension here, actually I'm not going to do that just because we need to bring back like 3 defensemen. We don't have any money for any of these guys. We have to sign this young player right here. He's going to want a bag probably. He's wanting probably 4 million. He wants 3.8. I'll do 3.5 with him. We're going to trade for a bunch of really young defensemen and just hope it works out for us. That's the plan. I literally have no plan here. I don't know how we're going to turn this team around. Yeah, it's going to be tough. The defensive core is going to be taking a massive hit because I'm not going to be able to afford any of these guys. Mikey Anderson, do you want to be a W Mans here? 5.8 million. We can't do it. Boquist, you honestly weren't even that great of a defenseman for us. Maybe we do keep Mikey Anderson just so we have somebody. Mikey, if you're willing to accept 4.9 million for the next 4 years, then we'll keep you around. But if you don't want to accept this deal, then we're probably going to walk away from you. Yeah, he's going to be saying no to that deal right there. Even this man right here saying no to the deal. Here's 3.625 for the next 3. You better accept that. We need you for the third line. We're desperate. Like, we're incredibly desperate here. I don't know what it's going to take for us to win a Stanley Cup. Nathan McKinnon, Auston Matthews, and Connor McDavid on the first line should be enough, but apparently it isn't. So basically, this is how the rest of the rebuild's going to work. If you're on a cheap contract and you're willing to play for this team, you will be brought here. A second-round pick for this man from St. Louis, Wheel. He's on his rookie deal and he's an 82 overall defenseman. There's one of our 3 defensemen we need to pick up. I'm not really going to contemplate what I'm giving up. We just got to bring players in. I think a 3rd round pick for Soderstrom is going to be enough. Unfortunately, they're saying no, so a 3rd and a 6th rounder. I shall do a 3rd and a 7th. There we go. We got him. We got to pick up one more defenseman now. Kruger, I think it's almost guaranteed that you don't fit on any of our defensive pairings, but we need a defenseman. I thought this would have been enough, but I guess not. A 3rd rounder, a 5th rounder, and 2 fourths. All of this is being sent over. When it comes to re-signing these guys, I'm not really too sure how that's going to work. All I know is we need defensemen that can play for us this season. And then we'll make one free agent sign to help the forward core here. Trevor Moore, here's 4.5 for 1 season. Now, Bodie, you're by far our best defenseman. Actually, that's a complete lie. We do have David Jiricek on this team. Here's 9.8 for the next 6 seasons. That will keep you around for the rest of the rebuild. Berkeley Catton, on the other hand, what are you looking at? I don't want to do a 2-year deal. We got to do a minimum 3. You don't want to do a 3-year deal? You know what? I'll let you walk. I'll qualify you as an RFA and I'll trade you. I'm not messing around here. Meanwhile, we also have to give Askarov an extension here. What do you want for money? 8.1 million. I'm going to be completely honest. After that postseason performance you had last season, I do not feel like giving you any money. You got to prove to me you're worth 8.1 million. because right now you're certainly not. I also completely forgot, once again, we do need a backup goaltender. So I'm sending a medium elite potential prospect over to the Boston Bruins, and we're getting a medium star potential goaltender. Actually, I think I traded medium starter for medium starter. It doesn't matter. We got an 82 overall backup. We're an 80 overall. I don't really know. I am so confused with this video so far. Like, we're a good team, we're a bad team. Where we get to the playoffs, we're fantastic, and then we lose every single time. So the coach wants these lines right here, and you know what? I'm gonna let him cook. He wants a 74 overall on the fourth line instead of having this left winger play on the right side. If the coach wants that, then go ahead. I don't really care. He wants this having a -3 boost, but if we change that, we would get a -2. You know, move these lines up a little bit, it would get rid of that -3. But you know what? Let the coach cook. I am just beyond confused at this point with the team. Askarov, you're our man. We already know that. Now the real question is, are we going to win more than 3 games in the postseason? Probably not. Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews cannot win together. And to make it even worse, once you add Nathan MacKinnon into the mix, they still can't win. Like, seriously, imagine that right now. Connor McDavid, Auston Matthews, Nathan MacKinnon all on one team together. They would win 60 games just because of those 3 players alone. But for some reason, we can't win 60 games, but on top of that, we can't make it out of the first round. Low-key, I'm just going to blame Auston Matthews for bringing the Leafs curse with him. Alright, so we'll look at this team at the end of the season after I make this trade here. Vince Dunn, 50% retained. He might be 35 years old, but he'd be one of our best defensemen. He's an 89 overall still. A first, a fifth, 2 sixes. Never mind, it's going to be 3 6th-rounders. All of this for Vince Dunn. Obviously, they're going to be saying no here. I'll throw in some valuable players if we have any. You know what? We're getting stupid in this video because this video has just been stupid in general. All of this for Vince Dunn. I don't care what it takes. He got traded. I hate this game so much. Right to the end of the season. This game drives me nuts sometimes. So it's not much of a surprise that the Miami Vipers are 3rd in the entire league here. We're a top team, 52 wins. We had a great offense and a pretty solid defense. None of this matters in the playoffs though. Connor McDavid, you had 104 points. That's absolutely fantastic. Auston Matthews, 93 points here. Great. I can't complain about what this team did right here. Nathan MacKinnon, only 83 points. I'm going to be honest, I'm expecting a bit more from you. Goaltending, Askarov, 44 wins, 5 shots, a 907 and a 278. Do not care. I don't care about any of these numbers right here. This is what I care about right here. The playoffs. The Miami Vipers taking on the New York Rangers in the first round. Win. You guys have to win. No more folding. We have to get Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews 1 Stanley Cup together. The fact that we haven't won 3 by this point actually infuriates me a bit. All right, I'm going to keep it a $150. I thought this series was over after game 1. We allowed 8 goals. 8 goals in game number 1 here, but luckily we're going to be winning game 5. We have the lead in the series, closed out in game 6. Of course we're not. Why would we ever close out a series? We're off to game 7. 3rd in the entire league, by the way. So who knows what's going to happen here. We're probably not going to win. We're picking up 2 goals in the first period. We have a 3-1 lead entering the 3rd. What are the odds we blow this lead? Who would have saw that one coming? We really lost this. Hemming, thank you for saving the day. We did not deserve to win this series right here. Hemming is saving us from a first round elimination, and we're off to the second round. We don't deserve to be there. All right, we don't deserve to be here, but since we are, we might as well keep on winning. We have the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round. I can't get over the fact that we got taken to 7 games by the New York Rangers. We're supposed to be one of the best teams in the entire league, but we never play like it in the postseason. But we have a new coach. We have Nathan MacKinnon, Auston Matthews, and Connor McDavid all playing together. Maybe something new is going to happen this time around, but it didn't happen last time, so why is it going to happen this time? All right, I can't recall if we've ever made it this far in the postseason, a 3-1 series lead. If we win here, we're in the conference finals. We're actually here. We're in the conference finals. We're 8-4 in the postseason. We actually have a chance at a Stanley Cup. We're 8 wins away. Do not screw this up. Now, this is going to be the biggest game in the postseason. We're taking on the Detroit Red Wings. I believe this team finished 1st in the entire league. It might have been 2nd. I know they were ahead of Miami for sure. They were either 1st or 2nd. Chicago was also up there, but that doesn't matter. Chicago was eliminated in the first round. Miami versus Detroit. Winner makes it to the Stanley Cup final. This is huge for us. Like, seriously, I can't recall if we've ever made it to the Stanley Cup final before. Actually, that's a lie. I know for a fact we haven't, but we're about to right now. Game 5, are we going to close this one out? A 6-5 win. We've made it to the Stanley Cup final. What I was going to say is I don't know if we've ever made it to the conference finals. We did this season, but before this season, had we ever? I don't think so. But now we're in the Stanley Cup final. So it all comes down to this. The Miami Vipers taking on the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota's been going on some miracle run right now. They took out the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round. I have no clue how they did that. I don't care what their record is. Minnesota's playing some good hockey right now, but so are we. Miami versus Minnesota. Whoever wins this is going to be taking home the Stanley Cup. Do not choke. We have never made it this far before. We can't fold now. I have never been more concerned about a Stanley Cup final than I am right now. Miami's playing good hockey, but so is Minnesota. We got to simulate the first 4 games here. Ideally, we complete a sweep. We won the first 2 and then drop the next 2. That's not ideal. We got to win game 5. That's a huge victory for us. Game 6, if we win this, we're Stanley Cup champions. We're doing it. We finally won with Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid. This took way too long. I'm going to keep it 1,000. We are like 10 years down the line. I was hoping maybe 6 Stanley Cups with these 2 guys together. Nope. The year 2032 and we finally win our first. Now, like, this is a glorious sight to see right here. Miami Vipers, Stanley Cup champions. I honestly didn't think I was going to see it. I really didn't think this team was going to win. And of course, the big time players are making big time plays. Matthews, 29 points, 16 goals. McDavid, 12 goals, 13 assists for 25 points. Nathan MacKinnon, 23 points here. This first line really carried the way. And Bodie, 25 points in 23 games. I did not expect this man to be as dominant as he was. But hey, he really helped us win a Stanley Cup here. Meanwhile, Ashcroft, these numbers absolutely suck. How did we win a Stanley Cup with them? You are telling me we won a Stanley Cup with these numbers right here, but we couldn't win a Stanley Cup with these numbers right here, or these numbers right here. I give up with understanding this game. Now, Berkeley Catton, you were an incredibly important piece to us winning a Stanley Cup here, so I got to give you an extension. We're doing 9.5 for the next 8 years. When it comes to re-signing the rest of the team, I don't really know what we're going to do yet. Now, this is all the money we have left. I'm giving it to Ashcroft. We just have to hope that he accepts this deal. I don't think he will. Yeah, we might be losing him over the offseason. We'll have to bring in a different goaltender. I'm going to be honest, Ashcroft, I'm not even sure if you're worth the contract I just gave you because you have not performed. Yeah, we just won a Stanley Cup with you, but your numbers have not been good in the postseason, and your numbers weren't even good in this postseason. Well, I guess he's going to be rejoining the team, but that means we're going to have to trade somebody else because we are going to have to free up some cap space. Now, as we know, we didn't really have any picks for the upcoming draft, so we're not going to be getting any good prospects here, but it was worth trading all those picks away because we finally won a Stanley Cup. So when it comes to the re-sign phase, we have literally no money to work with here, so unless you're an RFA that can qualify, you're going to be leaving the team. That's going to include some good bottom 6 pieces like Cardwell, and even some good defensive players like Soderstrom and Lambos, but you know what? Things like that happen. Alright, so we all know that we have to clear up cap space, and Zachary Bolduc, you've been a crucial part to this team. You just helped us win a Stanley Cup. However, at $7.1 million, I can't be paying you that much to play on the third line here, an 85 overall. So I'm going to send you over to the Blackhawks. We're going to get Cole Sillinger, and we're also going to get Josh Fillmore, 2 guys that can fill out our bottom 6. On top of making this deal, we're also going to be able to free up some cap space, which is going to allow us to bring in some new defensemen. Now, Wheel, you played some big minutes for us last season, but unfortunately, I don't have the money to re-sign you, so I'm going to trade you for somebody else who's on their rookie deal. That's what we have to do for the rest of this rebuild when it comes to the defense. Because defensemen in this game, once you get 10 years down the line, it gets absolutely ridiculous with the contracts. Like, Wheel wants $9 million. He's an 81 overall. Like, what? And that's not going to be the only trade we do, because we're also going to be picking up Madonna from the Calgary Flames. He's going to be another good left defenseman. I guess the last defenseman we picked up was a right defenseman, but you know what I mean. We got a new defenseman. Now, this is going to be a riskier deal as we're going to be acquiring a 79 overall defenseman, but the plan is once I trade for this man, we're going to give him a 5-year extension, because I think because he's a 79 overall and he is below an 80, we're actually going to be able to get him on a really good deal. So it's going to be 2 5th rounders and a 6th rounder, and we're getting Zetterberg. Never mind, we're not bringing back Zetterberg. He wants $3.1 million, and for a 79 overall, that's not worth it. Hypothetically, if he asked for like $2.5 million, $2 million, I would have brought him back, but not at this price point. So more than likely, this is going to be our second last trade, as I'm giving up 2 prospects over to the Nashville Predators, and we're getting a right defenseman. They're going to be saying no to this deal. I'll literally just throw in another prospect that they don't want, or a prospect they do want. Do you want Curry here? There you go. This is going to be enough to get the deal done. Okay, I guess it's not. I'll give you a 7th round pick. So here's a 7th round pick for 2033, and they're going to act like this is a steal of a deal. I'm calling it right now. They're going to say their fans are going to be cheering in the streets. Sweet proposal on our end, basically the exact same thing. Okay, so this team's going to be in a very tough position after this season, but you know what? We're going to work with it. We only have our 1st round picks for the next 2 seasons. Outside of that, we have no prospects and no draft picks. But don't worry, because we are going to have a roster for this season. We'll worry about next season. So it's pretty clear that Connor McDavid's declining. At 35 years old, he's dropped to 94 overall, but he only has elite potential right now. Auston Matthews, he's still 96. He's got his franchise, but this team doesn't have too many years left. We still have an incredibly solid forward core here, and the defense, I think you can make the argument that it's actually better this season. Bodie and Jiricek, they're still going to be on the top pairing together. Meanwhile, the other 2, we actually have better line fits, so I think we're in a great spot. Meanwhile, the goaltending, we already know what that looks like. Ashcroft, he's got his X factor. reflectors. He's an 86 overall though, so he dropped one overall at 30 years old. Maybe I shouldn't have re-signed you, but hey, you did win us the Stanley Cup last season. We're just going right to the end of the year. We don't have draft picks to work with. Let's just hope this team can repeat. But based on how the video's gone so far, I don't think there's a chance that we even repeat. If we repeat, I'll buy a jersey. Whose jersey am I going to buy? If we win back-to-back Stanley Cups here, I will buy a Bobby McMahon jersey. You heard that right, a Bobby McMahon jersey. And if you're wondering why Bobby McMahon, I got Bobby McMahon's rookie card on February 10th. Since then, that man has scored 7 goals and 1 assist in like 8 games or something. He's been absolutely on fire. And I'm taking credit for that. I'm taking credit for Bobby McMahon's success. I high-key really hope this team doesn't repeat. Okay, so our team might not have been good this season. We're 8th in the entire league. But there is one thing I want to mention. We won our division. At the 45 game mark, we were second last in our division, but somehow we still won it 48, 30, and 4. Like we were a 20, 25, and 2 team at one point, but somehow we're finishing 8th. We're scoring a lot of goals here. Defensively, we're not that great. Yeah, this Miami Vipers team is just something else. So obviously the big guns are going to be leading the way. That's Auston Matthews, that's Connor McDavid. Nathan MacKinnon's here as well, but he's not going to be rejoining the team next season. 85 overall at 37 years old. Connor McDavid, where are you looking like a 93 with elite potential? I think you still got 2 more good years left in you. The rest of the team here is not looking too bad, but the goaltending numbers, I'm not expecting them to be looking too good. 39 wins, 6 shouts, a 903 and a 285. You know what? That's not bad. Definitely could be a lot worse. So we're about to find out if I'm going to be buying a Bobby McMahon jersey or not. Miami's taking on Montreal in the first round. If this team wins the Stanley Cup here and they repeat, I'm buying one. I am praying that this team does not repeat. This is the only time in any video where I'm actually hoping we don't win a Stanley Cup. So you know what that means? We're going to go 16-0. Well, I don't have to worry about getting that Bobby McMahon jersey because we're going to be losing in the first round here in a 5-game series. I mean, if we were going to lose, at least lose in the Stanley Cup final because then we made it all the way there. And then I could have been sweating a little bit about potentially buying a $400 Bobby McMahon jersey because jerseys are stupidly expensive. But nah, I guess losing in 5 games in the first round is good too. So we can't afford to lose in the first round anymore. We probably have about 2 years left in this rebuild, and Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid have only won 1 Stanley Cup together. That's an absolute shame. With the amount of talent we've had on this team, there's no reason we should have been this unsuccessful. Then again, when you look at how the top guys performed, I'm not surprised we lost in the first round. McDavid 4 points, Matthews 4 points, MacKinnon 3 points. I guess the one lone positive with Nathan MacKinnon not coming back next season, we do free up $10 million. So we'll see what we can do with that. Alright, so since there's no good prospects around the 29th overall range, I'm going to try to trade this pick over to the Ottawa Senators for a future first rounder. They're going to be saying no, but if I throw a prospect in this deal, then we'll definitely be able to get it done. So who do we want to throw into this deal right here? I guess we technically could throw in one of these right defensemen. This man's not going to be coming back to the team next season, so maybe he can be the difference maker. He's not going to be able to be the difference maker. Let's see if we can find somebody else. Maybe this guy right at the bottom here. I'm not going to be bringing him back as well. So these 2 guys right here, in order to get that first round pick, they're still going to be saying no. I'll just throw a 7th rounder in for like 2035 or something. So here's a 2035 7th round pick, and we're getting this deal done. We're getting that first round pick. Now we're definitely going to be a worse team next season because we are losing Nathan MacKinnon, but if we can hold on to some of these bottom 6 guys, I think we'll be in a good position. So we're starting with Prince, $3 million for the next 2 years. This defenseman right here, I know for a fact we're not bringing him back. He wants $6.7 million. That's just not happening. Hemming, what are you looking for? Can we do less than $3 million? I can do 2.5 for the next 3. That's a good deal for a bottom 6 guy like you. Madonna, I know you're going to want a bag as well, $5 million. Zetterberg, are you going to want a bag? Yeah, I can't afford to pay these guys. So we're qualifying them as RFAs, and then we're going to trade them away. Corso is actually a pretty decent backup goaltender, so 1.2 for the next 2, I can live with that contract. So Prince declined the offer I sent to him, so 3.2 for the next 2. You're going to be accepting this one. So we're going to be doing 1-for-1 here, as we're going to be picking up Haydar from the Vancouver Canucks. He's an 80 overall, he's got an X factor, but more importantly, we have him under contract for the next 2 seasons. They're getting a good deal here because we gave up a much more valuable player, but hey, $1 million for the next 2, that's worth it. And that's not going to be the only trade we do here because the first rounder's off to the Islanders. Similar situation here, we're picking up a left defenseman. He's a 78 overall, but he's under contract for the next 2 years, and that means quite a bit around here. I want to get a second rounder as well, but I guess we're not going to be getting that. Maybe 2 third-round picks. If we can get 2 third-rounders, I would love that. Maybe 1 third-rounder. Just give me something here. They're saying that's a bit low, so I'll throw in a 7th rounder to get the deal done. Unfortunately, we don't have a 7th rounder, so you're going to get a 6th instead. So we do have $13 million in cap space because Nathan MacKinnon's not coming back to the team. So I'm going to pick up this 85 overall grinder, and he's going to play some big bottom 6 minutes for us. On a 1-year contract, I'm okay with paying him $5 million. Another guy we'll bring onto the team on a 1-year deal, that's going to be Nikola Ehlers. I can't complain with $3.5 million for an 84. Those moves should round out our forward core, and now we just need to bring in 2 more defensemen. And when it comes to defensemen, I'm just getting the cheapest defenseman available. Even 79 overalls are looking for $4 million. But this guy right here, he doesn't want $4 million. I'll do 2 years at $1.2 million. That's actually a great deal. Although you're 34 years old, I don't care. I just need people that can play defense. This man right here, 79 overall, we'll give him 2 years at 2.3. That's a good deal for us. He can play on the right side. That's going to fill out our defensive core here, and I think we should be able to compete once again. I mean, that's a complete lie. This team's taking a massive step back, but we're still going to be good, I think. Now, this is going to be the last signing we do here. Alex Tucker, an 84 overall, $3.2 million for next season. I can live with that contract. I mean, it's a 1-year deal. You're 37. I'm not expecting you to do too much. Now, is there anyone else here we can sign for really cheap? Rasmussen, we'll do 1 year, $2.1 million. You're 34 years old as well, but you know what? We need guys for the bottom 6. All right, if I'm being completely honest, I have no clue what I'm cooking up here. McDavid, he's a 91 overall, top 6 potential. This could potentially be his final season. Meanwhile, Auston Matthews, 94 overall, he's got elite potential now. Both these guys are declining. The forward core doesn't look quite as strong, although it's still a pretty solid forward core. Is it what it used to be? Absolutely not, but it's not bad by any means. This defensive core, this is not good, but you know what? We got some guys on 2-year deals here. This entire defensive core is going to be coming back next season. Jiricek and Bodie, they're going to be leading the way for us. Meanwhile, the goaltending, Askarov, he's dropped to an 85 overall. He's probably only got 2 seasons left with us. He's got a couple X factors still. I need this team to go on one more miracle run. One more miracle run to finish out this video, and then McDavid and Matthews can retire. Okay, somebody needs to explain how the Miami Vipers just finished first with a 55, 25, and 2 record. I think this is the best record we've ever had. The offense is absolutely flying, just under 4 goals per game, while the defense one of the best in the entire league. We do know who is on this team, right? We lost Nathan MacKinnon. We are definitely a worse team, but somehow we're playing better. Matthews, absolutely incredible. 53 goals. When was the last time you picked up 53 goals? I feel like it's been a minute. The last time you picked up 53 goals or more was the 2028-2029 season. You're telling me these years right here, when you were actually a better player, you didn't pick up 53 goals. All right then, Connor McDavid, 102 points. You dropped down to an 89 overall. Time's running out for this team, but for some reason they continue to play great. I will never understand it. Askarov, 48 wins, 6 shots, a 905 and a 286. I think these are the best numbers you've ever had. Well, the save percentage and goals against definitely aren't, but when it comes to wins, I think this is the most wins you've ever had in a season. Yeah, it's not even close. Like here you picked up 44, another 44 win season here. In the year 2034, he picks up his most wins. All right then. And you know what? I'm okay with things not making sense, and let's hope they continue to not make any sense, and this team actually goes on a run in the postseason and wins another Stanley Cup, because for the Miami Vipers, that would make no sense. Finishing first in the entire league and winning a Stanley Cup, that just doesn't sound right. And once again, this team's just absolute frauds, and we're losing in the first round. Maybe not. We might make a comeback, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yep, we lost in 6 games. This team is just cursed. Like, I don't know anymore. Why is this team always good during the regular season and then folds in the playoffs? Out in the first round, we were a 55 win team, but we could only win 2 games in the postseason. You got to make it make sense sometimes. Now, the real question is, are both of these guys going to be sticking around, or is Connor McDavid or Auston Matthews going to be retiring? Because there is a chance that Connor McDavid calls it a career here. Let's hope he doesn't. Thankfully, he's not going to be retiring here, so we're going to be able to run it back for one more season. David Pastrnak, should have I traded for you a couple years ago? Never mind, you're only an 82 overall. A couple years ago, I was contemplating either him or Nathan MacKinnon, and I was going to say if Pastor was still like an 85 overall, then we definitely made the wrong decision. We have another year to run it back here. Let's hope for a miracle, because this team clearly needs one. So similar to the last draft, we're not picking up any prospects here, but we are going to get a future first round pick from the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to hope Colorado loses a couple guys over the offseason and that becomes a valuable pick. But as of right now, there's no point picking up a ton of draft picks because they're not going to develop in time. We need to win right now. I really forgot to give Connor McDavid an extension. I didn't give anyone extensions here. We are getting so incredibly lucky here. We're doing 2 years at $9 million. I'm giving you a bit more than what we probably could get you for, but no, I really screwed that one up. We almost lost this, man. But we also have a ton of money to work with here, so who else can we bring back? This guy was great for the bottom 6, so 3.8. I think we can do that price. Okay, both Connor McDavid and him are rejecting their offers, so I'm just going to give you basically exactly what you want. But McDavid, I'm giving you 2 years at 9.5, and then this man right here, you can have exactly what you want. Actually, that's a lie. I want you at $4 million. I want to save that little bit of money if I can. So both of those guys are going to be coming back. This guy we drafted a long time ago, we'll bring him back. Actually, that's a lie. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. 3.8. I'll do 3.8 for him. Madonna, I'm qualifying you as an RFA. We're going to trade you away. Zetterberg, I'm also going to qualify you as an RFA and trade you away. You both won $5 million. And then Tuck, Ehlers, you're both going to be walking. Rasmussen, you're going to be walking as well. Fillmore's going to be walking. We're going to lose a handful of players here, but you know what? We're going to have like $15 million in cap space though, so we're going to use it. Okay, so we got through the re-sign phase, but we do have some extensions to give out. Prince, I'll give you $6 million for the next 2 years. These two guys are getting traded. Cole Sillinger, we're just going to ride out your contract here. This defenseman, we're probably just going to ride out his contract as well. 3.4 million is not happening for a 79 overall. All right, I'm embarrassed to say, but it's gotten to this point where we're trading for a 76 overall defenseman, and he's going to play on our team. $1 million. It works. $1 million for the next 3 years, and we're going to hope he develops into like a 78 overall by the beginning of the season. I also realized St. Louis has $70 million in cap space. How do you have $70 million in cap space? Who is on your team? Like, this has to be the worst team in the league right now. Yeah, this is awful. This is a really bad team. All right, so we already know how this works. We got to fill out the bottom 6 here. We're starting with Philip Hedl, $3.6 million for next season. It looks like Trent Frederick's going to be next. He was on this team a while ago, but now it's time to bring him back once again. 3.8 for 1 year. And to cap it all off, we might as well bring in some more old players. Barrett Hayton will do $2.8 million for next season. Make that 2.9. I also completely forgot once again that we have these RFAs on our team. So I'm sending this one over to the Boston Bruins for a 3rd and 4th rounder. And then we're going to be sending this one over to the Anaheim Ducks for 2 7ths, I guess. Yeah, he'll go to Anaheim for 2 7th rounders. Or maybe not. I have this glitch again where I can't actually trade players. I don't know why this happens. Maybe I can send him to the Boston Bruins for 2 7th rounders. Nope, can't make any trades right now. So even after all these years, you can still say we have a really good forward core, the lowest overall being an 81. The defense, on the other hand, we're actually just going to pretend doesn't exist because this is awful. We have a 76 overall on our second pairing. You heard that right? A 76 overall. Luckily, Askarov, he's back up to an 86, and I think he just got another X Factor. You're telling me he just gained his 5th X Factor at 32 years old? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I don't really know how this man's still developing. I mean, he's dropped to starter potential, so he's actually not developing anymore. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this Miami Vipers team. We're going to finish 1st in the entire league, and then we'll lose in the 1st round. I would say the most annoying thing about a rebuild like this is we haven't been bad. 11th in the entire league isn't good. Like, this was a bad season for us. Like, there's no doubt about that. But up until this season, we have been a very good team consistently. So when it comes to rebuilding this team and making us better, what do I actually do? Because you win 55 games, I'm not going to change much. You win 52 games and you finish 1st in the entire league. I'm not going to change anything. We're 1st in the entire league. But Auston Matthews, he's dropped to an 89 overall at 37 years old. He's not looking that good. Connor McDavid, he's not that guy anymore. I know I said I was going to rebuild this team until either one of these guys retired, but that might be changing. This could be the final season, barring whether they retire or not. Because at this point, I have just given up with this rebuild. I have built a good team here. There has been nothing wrong with the team I built whatsoever. When you finish top 3 in the league for like 5 years in a row and top 5 in the league for 10 years in a row, you are a good team. At that point, it's just out of my control. I have built Stanley Cup caliber teams. They just choose not to win Stanley Cups. But if we are going to win a Stanley Cup, we're going to do it right now because we finished 11th in the entire league. We have the Washington Capitals up next. I guarantee we sweep the Washington Capitals. I don't think we swept a team this entire video, but we're about to sweep somebody right now. We're actually dominating Washington. Okay, we actually almost swept them. We're either going to close this out in game 5 or we're going to blow a 3-0 series lead. I hate this team so much. Like, I really do. I mean, luckily we're getting out of the 1st round here, but I mean, yeah, this was trending in the wrong direction real quick. So we've made it to the 2nd round here, but that doesn't really mean too much for this Miami team. We always find a way to lose. Like, I don't care if Connor McDavid's averaging 3 points and Auston Matthews is scoring 2 goals a game. This team will still find a way to lose. We're losing game 1, and then we're going to win 2 straight. The series is split 2 games apiece. Game 5, that's going to be a deciding one. We're winning that 5-2. Do we actually close this out in 6 games? I don't understand this team. 11th in the entire league, and now we're in the conference finals. Somehow the 2 wildcard teams are matching up against each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's Carolina versus Miami, and we're actually the favorite for once. You heard that right? We're the favorite heading into this matchup. And you know what that means? We're going to lose, because since we're the favorite, we're going to choke. The last 2 series we played, we've been the underdog and we've been able to win. However, when we're the favorite, that's when we choke. If we lose because we're the favorite in this series, then that means this has to be 100% rigged. We swept them. We just swept and we're in the Stanley Cup final. We're 11th in the entire league. Okay, we're playing San Jose in the Stanley Cup final. San Jose was not a good team this season. They won as many games as us. I think we actually had more points than them. We were ahead of them in the standings. It's the 11th overall team taking on the 12th overall. I don't know what's going on here, but here we go. The first 4 games of this series, we need to stand tall here. We swept them. We have to go out on top here. McDavid, Matthews, please retire. We have to end this video with you guys winning a Stanley Cup. 11th in the entire league, and we won a Stanley Cup. How does that even happen? Matthews, 28 points. You were an absolute dominant force. I cannot form words right now. Matthews is leading the way. McDavid's here as well, 26 points. There is no reason this team right here should have just won this Stanley Cup. I can't believe that just happened. Askarov, these are phenomenal. A 930 and a 201. I think I was talking about trading you. You lost all of your X factors, but you're still an 86 overall. A 930 and a 201. 11th in the entire league, by the way. When we're a 55 win team and we're first in the entire league, nah, first round exit. We had a 76 overall in our defensive core, by the way. A 76 overall was playing second pairing minutes for us, and we just won a Stanley Cup. The Miami Vipers just did the impossible, but it looks like I was right in my statement of retiring on top, because that's what Connor McDavid's gonna be doing. 1,553 games played, 803 goals, 1,280 assists for 2,083 points. I am so sorry we didn't get you more Stanley Cups, because you deserved more than 2. You should have at least got 5. And who is at Connor McDavid's side this entire video? Well, that was Auston Matthews. 1,465 games played, 855 goals, 869 assists for 1,724 points. Without you, we're not winning any of these Stanley Cups, but without Connor McDavid, we're also not winning any of these Stanley Cups. Askarov, he was easily the most valuable player in that last Stanley Cup we just won. There's no reason we should have won that. Before I end this video, there is one thing I need to show you guys. So you remember how we made that trade for Colorado's first round pick? It turned out being the 7th overall. We were just about to bring an elite potential player to this team that could immediately jump into the lineup. Of course, that happens right after Connor McDavid retires. But if you somehow made to the end of this video, comment Askarov. That man was absolutely phenomenal in that last postseason run. A 930 and a goals against of 2. Considering how inconsistent this team was and the fact that we had a 76 overall on our second defensive pairing, those numbers make absolutely no sense. That might go down as the greatest goaltending performance of all time. Alright, I take it all back. This man would not jump to the lineup immediately. He was a 65 overall. Yeah, that's tough. But that sums up this entire video right here.